Hey, good morning. Put this over here. Morning. So our setup for today, for those of you who have already arrived, I have to put this on. Maple original sound. I have a footstool, but you can have a chair, dining room chair, any kind of chair. We're going to try and do the plow today, modified. I have a blanket, I have a block. So I've put this at the end of my mat. So I might want to use it. We're going to do the standing version of the bird dog pose. Usually we do it on hands and knees. You're welcome to do it on hands and knees. So let me show you how we'll be using this and why a blanket might be good if you have some neck issues for shoulder stand and into plow. Option is to always do the bridge pose. So for those of you who say, yeah, I got a neck thing, I'm not gonna take a chance, I will show you an option besides the bridge pose that will make it a little bit better when we get to that point. But just so you go get a chair and you place it at the end. Here's my little, I'll set this here to sit on. Here's my little footstool. So eventually we're gonna come to bird dog. And you can put your hands here, or you can use blocks. But anyway, that's what I've got the tools out for. So it's time to come to Namaste. So we come to the moment to practice, to not be perfect. And we're gonna start laying on our side. And I want you to lay on your left side, where your heart is. So you're gonna be laying down. You can put a pillow under your head. You can put an arm under your head. And I'm going to move over to my mat. So you're going to kind of be in a fetal position and there's no going back to sleep. So you're just going to draw the knees forward. Either use your shoulder or take a pillow or a blanket. And then the top hand, just for the time being, is going to slide under your ribs. And so I'll show you as you're getting set up. I've taken my hand, I'm here, and so here's my chest line. I'm coming right about here, just with my fingers gently. And so as you lay on your left side, you should notice the heart. It's amazing, isn't it? So feel the heart. Notice its cadence. Now play with your breath in relationship to your heart. So maybe take a little bit slower or deeper breath. And kind of feel the pulse change. Sometimes this might feel a little uncomfortable, so if you have to move your hand out or if it's just not something you can tolerate, you can roll onto your back. But just take a few more breaths, sensing that beating of the heart. And maybe when you sleep on your side or your back or your stomach. It is a little easier for your heart to beat when you're not laying on top of it with all of your body weight. So something to consider would be laying on the right side of your body. So you can either roll to the right side of your body. I'm just going to turn and lay on the other side. We're going to do the same thing. You'll put your right hand under or use a pillow. And this one you don't have to put the hand under here because there's not going to be anything beating, but I just want you to take in the sensation of the other side. So So now the heart has a bit more freedom to do its thing. And while you're laying here, notice the pull of gravity coming from above, taking the internal organs and drawing them downward. And let's go down to the bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana action. And it's a little different to play with this bandha engagement with gravity coming from above, whether you're on your side, your back, standing, or on all fours. So Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor energy, drawing up, engaging the lower belly. Don't squeeze in the tush. Give yourself one more breath, nose or mouth, whatever is available. And use your top hand to gently press yourself up as we come to a seated position. Now your seated position could be comfortable pose Sukhasana, could be on a blanket, could be sitting on a block on your knees. So any way you want to sit, just come upright. So here's me sitting on a block. So this is not great if you have knee concerns. Knees are made to bend this way, but yours may not like it. So sitting maybe with one leg outstretched, or if you have a chair here, you could even sit up into the chair for this next series. So now notice how gravity is weighing on us. When we were on our left side, gravity was weighing down. The heart became more prevalent in our thoughts and sensations. And we laid on the right side and felt the ease of addressing our bandhas. And now we're sitting upside and we feel how gravity is pressing down upon Mula Bandha. So re-engage Mula Bandha and drawing through the belly and lift up through the spine. Visualize those vertebrae and discs. So here's my vertebra, and here's my disc, and here's my vertebra. And see if you can lift against the pull of gravity, leaving the head in a neutral position. I'm not sure where your device is so that you need to see. You don't have to see for this one, you need to feel. So it's almost like I'm taking your head and lifting it up from your seated position, not letting the head fall forward or fall back, but just feel it sitting on your spine tall. Consciously relax the shoulders. Let gravity allow them to go down. Often we hold tension there. Do whatever you like with the hands, palms down, palms up, by your side, in your lap. Visualize the crown chakra. This chakra, I believe it's purple in color, is connection to the greater fill in the blank. So you can take your connection into the greater, ground yourself onto Mother Earth, be connected with your breath, lower or close your eyes and experience yourself in good form, in good postural form. Now expand through your ribs, the front side of the ribs and the back side of the ribs. And when you breathe out, tighten through the abdominal wall to help facilitate the emptying of the lungs. Notice how this will slow your breath, expanding and contracting, consciously using our muscles, consciously letting go of muscles. Returning to a natural breath and fluttering your eyes until they come open. Still seated in your chair or on your mat, let the arms stretch out to the sides, reaching through the tips of the fingers, continuing to lift through the crown of the head, feeling rooted into the earth through the base of your torso. The shoulders may begin to start pulling up, so energy from the shoulders is going to shift out through the fingers. With your next breath, float the arms and the face skyward. So we lift the arms, we lift the heart, we lift our gaze up and outward. And we all probably have a roof that we're looking up into the ceiling, but go on beyond that. The sky, the universe, just feel part of everything. We join the palms together, float the hands into the heart, feeling a softening through the shoulders, but a firmness through the belly, a slight bow of the head. And this is where you're going to adjust your attitude into one of gratitude. So maybe it's just being thankful for this moment, or the good things that are happening in your life, putting the negative things over here, and bringing in the positive things. And we'll begin a little bit by lacing the fingers, option 1, or clasping the hands. And then moving the hands forward. So if you're clasping the hands, the palms are away. If you're doing the laced fingers, I'm not trying to crack my knuckles. I just want the arms to go forward of my chest. You're still seated in the chair or sitting on your mat. Letting the arms rise up to wherever up is okay for you. If there's shoulders or back issues, only go maybe in front of the face. If you have none of those issues, or at least not today, reach the palms skyward. And then when you get them in that upright position, see if you can squeeze the elbows a little bit more, lift the spine a little bit more, breathing, and now feeling that space between your ribs and your hips. We've lifted off of the hip bones. Gently release the elbows, let the hands part, the hands go behind, down and to your back. If you're sitting in a chair, scoot forward so you have a little space. And again, either grab the hands or lace the fingers. If you're lacing the fingers, the palms face one another, not, I don't know, sometimes people turn things inside out. And then see if you can straighten the elbows and lift nice and tall, and then just gently hands off the back. So from the side. Just see how the front of your shoulder's feeling. And then as you deepen the breath, expand a little bit more. And release to make cactus arms. So the grace and ease through the shoulders should place the elbows out to the side of the body, because sometimes it goes here, so a little bit easier here. On the breath in, there's a big gust of wind, of which there's a lot on the West Coast. So the wind blows, the arms go back, and then the wind comes from behind and we go forward. Just do a few rounds of opening and closing with the upper body tied to your breath. And that means we won't have to be doing this together. This means you'll just be working on your own, inhaling and exhaling. Expanding and contracting. Using the muscles to shorten the space in the back. Using the chest muscles to broaden the space in your back. So we feel that roundedness through the upper traps. And we feel the contraction through the back muscles as we open the chest. And we'll do this one more time. End up with your hands together rounded. And then lift. And for those of you who are on the chair, you're going to stand up. And for those of us sitting on the mat, we're also going to stand up, but try not to use your hands. So I came from a kneeling position that made it much easier. I'm going to clear my mat, put my stuff over here. I still have my stool there. So we face one another in Tadasana, knowing that you can choose the Iyengar style of foot placement. You can do the Ashtanga style, toes in, heels out, but most of us kind of like an open parallel stance. Ground with your toes, your heels, and the outer and inner edges of the feet. Engage those inner thighs. Sometimes it's a feeling of squeezing, and sometimes it's a feeling of pushing your legs apart. There's Mula Bandha, the action of Uddiyana, the continuing lifting of spine, the softness of the shoulders, and then the energy through the fingers to the earth. Doesn't matter if the palms are in or the palms are forward, suit yourself. Take in the mountain pose. So we'll work a little bit with our balance, and that means we're going to come up on the toes. So the arms, for those of you who choose not to do the elevation, is simply to go out, palms down, rotate the palms, making it easier for the shoulders, and go up, exhale down, pausing at the shoulders, and continuing. So that's the arm pattern. So what are feet doing? On the inhale, the arms will lift, the heels will lift up, and exhale, control through the descent. That might be the challenge. So we'll do it a few times. What I want you to bring your awareness to is how much better your body gets when it understands what it's trying to do. So the bandhas, we hold all those elements of Tadasana, and we inhale, rise to the ball of the foot. You may be at a different cadence, and then exhale slowly down. Yeah, everything works. Just do this on your own. Keep your playful attitude, because it may be that you step out of it. Follow your breath, so if you're breathing fast, you might be going a little quicker than I am. Couple more. So my last one, I'm going to stay up on my balls of my feet as high as you feel you can manage. And then I'm not going to come down, just my arms will come down. Then I'll move my hands to my hips. Still on the balls of my feet, feeling the big toe to the little toe, not just rolling to little toe. Make a gentle turn to one side. And return back center. Stay nice and tall, bandhas, yes. Now let's try a little turn to the other side. Return back center. Reach the arms out to the side, and then go ahead and lower everything. Your arms, your legs, your shoulders. Return to Tadasana. Separating the feet. So I'm on the long end of my mat, so if you're on the short end, you'll probably come to the edges of the mat, and my toes are out. So putting my hands on my hips, I'm showing you a straight leg here. It's not a bent knee. My legs are straight, and I'm kind of tick-tocking my hips. And observe how things are feeling. Remember, every day is a little different. We bring either a workable body or a cranky body or a body that's having an issue. So we're just exploring right now. That's a great part of yoga. It's not about how well you're doing the poses. It's the intention and curiosity that you bring to it. Okay, center yourself, bend the knees as I turn sideways. It's a drop of the tailbone, a tighten of the belly, upper body stays neutral, push the tailbone back. So rocking, it's the other half of the cat and cow. So we did the upper body when we were seated a moment ago. Now I'm working through my pelvis. And for me, this really identifies what's going on in my lumbar today. So a little bit of extension, but with space, and then a little bit of contraction. So right now you're just seeing how things feel. Engage through the abdominal wall. Yes, you will squeeze the bum for this one. Yes. Now a hula. So a few times in each direction we go with the hula. So any things that we're feeling in our backs or even anywhere else are usually the nerves that are being compressed or having issues. They're what speaks to us. Go the other way if you haven't already. They're the things that speak to us in regards to pain or something that the body is having an issue with. So like with the back, we have these nerves that run down. You're probably most familiar with the sciatic nerve. And so with all of the bones and the discs and the muscles and the ligaments, sometimes those nerves can get in places where they're compressed. Okay. Turning the toes out. So I'm going to bend the knees in the direction of the toes as if I'm sitting on a big horse, like horse pose, and I'm going to stretch the arms out to the side. So I'm going to do some rotations in this position. Make sure your knees have not collapsed inward, that you're really activating through that hip joint by pulling the knees out, shoulders down. Take a turn to one side and back to the center. Lift through the spine and on to the other side and back to the center. And then one more time to your first side. And then notice which arm is in front, because we're going to start doing something with the front arm. Stay in your big plie. Back to the first side. The arm that's in front is going to sweep over your head and back to the side to straighten yourself out. Go to the other side. The front arm coming forward of your body circles around the head and brings you back center. Stay down. Go one more time around and open, and last time around and open, and then slowly straighten, turn the toes forward, bring the heels in once and the toes a little bit more forward. So I'm just maybe outside my hip joint if I were to look down. We've done this one before, bending the knees together. So leave your, as it looks to you, left hand on your left bent knee. And you're going to release the right arm and straighten the right leg. So as you straighten the right leg and lift the right arm, turn towards, so bottom shoulder forward. And if you want to bend the elbow you're leaning on, go down a little more. As you come back, both knees bend. And then as I stay on my right arm with my bent knee, I slowly release the left arm and straighten the left leg, drop my right shoulder and reach up and come back down to both knees bent. Let's do that a few times. So breath in, straighten your right leg, and breath out. And left leg straightens, right knee is bent, and center. And one more time. And the other side. Coming to a chair pose. So sitting myself up, bending the knees, and pushing my bum out. Now depending on your knees, you may be on more of a bar stool. You may be able to sit lower. Avoid the temptation to fall forward because there's more muscles going on the higher we sit. Now I've got you in a wider stance than maybe you normally do this. So stay in that wider stance, shift your weight into your heels and bring your arms out in front of your chest. So a little more work for the back. Breath in, the arms will rise, and breath out, they lower. It's just that simple. Bandhas, bandhas, bandhas. And we're going to go to our first inversion. So as my hands come down to my thighs, I bring my heart forward. So notice the neutral spine. I haven't begun rounding. I'm hinging out almost like I'm laying my body to my thighs, looking toward the floor, then trying to straighten the legs. Hands can stay on your thighs, move down towards your feet, or even onto the floor. I wouldn't expect our legs to straighten so early in our practice, but if yours do, cool. Your hands are there to support your back, so you're not feeling like you're just hanging. Return the hands to the knees, bend those knees, and slowly lift your chest as if coming back to the chair pose. And then burst from the earth, let the arms come from the side, all the way up. Now careful the hips don't thrust forward. Hold that neutral spine. As you bring your arms up, I'm going to step back a little and bend my knees because I want you to see I've crossed my hands so the back of the wrist are together. So if I step up here, you'll see this is what I'm doing with my hands. If this is a bit much for your shoulders, bring the arms more forward. So push down on your right foot more than your left foot. Just push down with that. Lift up with your arms and now lean a little to your left side. Now while this left side feels like it's collapsing, I want you to feel like it's rather smooth and more of a curve. Release the top arm, that'll free up your back to make it a little easier to come back to neutral. And again, come to your chair pose. Let the arms go up. Arms down to your thighs into Uttanasana, forward fold, so laying the body down, dropping the head, then trying to straighten the legs, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little more forgiveness in the hamstrings. Big breaths. Bending your knees, put the hands on the thighs. Lift your chest, going back to that chair pose sensation. Release the arms. Careful the pelvis doesn't slip forward. Rise all the way up and cross the arms. So let's see, which I have my hands this way, so I'm going to cross them. If it feels like you already did that side, do the other side. Okay. All the way up. Now I'm going to press down with my left foot, really press down, lift up through my arms, and then laterally lean off to what would be your right side. And back of the hands are touching. Arms may be more here if you don't have the freedom in your shoulders. And then laterally go. So it's all this side. Now, try not to get too many wrinkles on this side, or anywhere else for that matter. So you still have that element of mountain pose where you're squeezing the legs together, stiffen the elbows. Release your top arm, slowly return center, and come back to Tadasana. Okay, so let's move on to the bird dog. As mentioned, I'm going to use the chair if you have a chair or a counter or something that's nearby. But if you'd rather do it on the floor, as we usually do, you're welcome. So let me just show you. Here's where we're going. This is traditional. We have one leg up and the opposite arm of the leg that's up is out. Bird dog, okay? Now, so that we don't get too confused, I'm going to leave it to you to do opposition. So I'll say lift one leg and extend the opposite arm. Come back, switch to the other leg. So you could be on left or right, it doesn't matter. What you want to avoid is if you lift one leg, whichever leg came up, same arm. So you're going to be out of balance. So we really want to work asymmetrical rather than just on one side. Or we want to work symmetrically, not asymmetrical, just on one side. Thank you. All right, so here's the chair, or in my case, the stool. I stand mindfully, so I don't have my feet together. That means when I stand on one foot, it's not under my pelvis. I'm not saying that's bad. In fact, some people prefer that. but I'm going to just stay with my usual Tadasana stance. So keep that leg through the spine and feel free to adjust if you need to based on your chair. Maybe you want it sitting sideways so the back's not right in front of your face. The arms will lift as you breathe in. You'll lean out and over to the seat of the chair as if you were on all fours. So it's kind of like I'm all fours. I want to scoop my feet up. I'm going to turn this lamp so I don't hit it. There we go. Things you have to do in your house. So pick one leg up. As you lift it, feel that you're squeezing the bum and actively pushing your back foot against a wall so that your hips are pointing downward, not turned open. And that back toe pointing to the floor will help you get to that place. Lift your spine, feel your head being drawn forward. Now, whatever leg is up is going to be the opposite arm that reaches forward. And if you lose your balance, put your hands and foot back down. No need to tip over. Return to feet and hands down. Engage your bandhas. Look outward. If you're on the mat, look to the edge of the mat. If you're on the chair, look out past the edge of the chair. Pick up your other leg. Feel that it's pushing on a wall. Toes are down. Pull up, pull up, pull up. It's okay if your standing knee prefers a little bend. Think about which leg is up and extend your opposite arm. So the leg that's behind is the arm that you're using to support the bird dog. Still breathing. Return back to all four. Maybe do a little cat-cow. Notice how your back is working for this one. This is a back strengthener. So I'm going to add an element. You're welcome to stand up and watch if you're on a chair, or sit on your knees if you're on the mat. So I will go opposite arm, opposite leg, and breathe in. Draw my elbow and knee together and breathe out, doing that 3 times and coming back to my beginning position. So it will be inhale, extend, exhale, tuck in, inhale, extend, exhale, tuck in, inhale, extend. That's your 3rd time, then you extend and you return to center. That's the plan. Can be on your mat, and if your hands get tired at the wrist, knuckles, and load your shoulders over your hands, as this has a little bit of upper body. So I'm going to start standing. Breathe in and go into my all fours position. If you're on the mat, that's fine. So pick an opposite arm, opposite leg. As you breathe out, in, extend, tuck in and breathe out. Extend and breathe in, tuck and breathe out. Once more, reaching and pulling. Now you reach and pause. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and come back down. Right onto the other side. Inhale, extend opposite arm, opposite leg. Exhale, tuck in. Reach and breathe in. Tuck and breathe out. Reach and breathe in. Last time, tuck in. One more, reach and pause. And you come back. Let's do this one more time. I think you're getting good at it. First side, opposite arm, opposite leg. And tuck in. Reach and pull. Reach and pull. Now just reach and hold. And come down to switch to your last side. Reach, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, draw in, tighten the belly. One more, stretch out. and tuck back in. So your last bird dog, reach and hold, and come back down. If you're in a chair, bend the knee, pay attention to your blood pressure, and come all the way up. Nice. Okay, let's do some standing lunges. Again, you can use the chair. I would advise that. If you have anything left on your mat, scoot it, because we're going to be stepping back. And you can use the chair for some revolving. If you choose not to use the chair, that's okay. So once we get into our crescent pose, leaning forward, you can turn to the leg and reach up. But if you had a chair here, and you did here, you could put the hand on the chair seat and reach up here. So we're doing a crescent pose into a twist on both sides, and we'll stay at the same end of the mat so you don't have to carry your chair back and forth. You'll just see me all look a little different on each side. Again, you can use the floor, and then you'll just be on your legs. Okay? So Tadasana, bandhas, breath, it's back to the breath. Arms float. And then as you exhale, put them on the knees and the knees will bend. Then you'll lift up the chest. Why do we do that? Engage the muscles in the back and the belly. Now pick a foot again. Keep consistent with yourself and step that one foot back. I'm leaning forward and I'm bracing on my thigh. If I was at the chair, instead of my hands on the thigh, I would put them out on the seat of the chair and put my leg back. So I have one leg in front and one leg in back. If I had my hand on my thigh, it would be the opposite arm that stays on the thigh and the leg that's in front arm that opens and twists me. If I had my hands on the chair, it would be the arm of the leg behind me that stays on the chair and the arm that's in front that goes up. So we're here, or we're here, or if you're this person, you could do here. You're on the ball of the back foot. If you can, you look up and you breathe. And you're using here, or here, or here, in a way that makes sense for you. Return your hands to your leg, or if you're using a chair, step the back foot up and return to Tadasana. Take in that sensation as we do the other side. The arms will lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Either put the hands on your thighs or onto the seat of the chair. Your other leg goes back, so if it feels like you already did this leg, you probably did. Make sure the front knee has not gone out over the foot, so line that up. Whichever leg is in front, that's the arm that's going to go up. So I either leave my hand on the seat of the chair and reach up, or I leave my hand on the front thigh and reach up, or I take that arm outside my front thigh and rotate. You're on the ball of the back foot, the heel is not down. Still breathing? Return both hands to your leg or the seat of the chair. Step your back foot up and return to Tadasana. Okay, so into a warrior. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend the knees, and again, on your thighs if you're not using a chair, or on the chair. First leg goes back. Don't know, remember what that was? Wiggle. Now this time, drop the back heel. So I'm not on the ball of the foot, and you see my foot is not turned out, it's more diagonal. If I'm doing the thighs here, lifting up from the chair, both arms go in front. Whichever leg is behind you, that arm is going to lift. The body will turn as we come to warrior two. I'm going to go over here so you see what my body is doing. So I'm in warrior two. Bring the hands into your heart. back of your shoulders, we move to the grateful warrior, goes inside your front leg, and sometimes the head goes to the ankle. If I were at my chair doing my warrior two, I might be able to put my head in the seat of the chair. So whatever is making sense for you, we're in our grateful warrior, attitude of gratitude. Return back to your warrior two. Flip your back heel up. Step up. You're either at the chair or at the front of the mat for the other side. Arms to lift. Bend the knees, hands on your thighs or on the chair seat. Other foot goes back. You get that nice step back and then drop the heel. Notice the alignment of toe. And then either from here or from here, reach. We know this is warrior one. Whichever leg is in front, that arm remains. Whichever leg is behind, that arm turns the body. So you see my shirt turn to the long end of my mat. I recommit into my warrior two, checking my knee is not falling in or falling out. Drawing my hands into my heart. I cultivate the attitude of gratitude as I shift, shoulder inside my front leg. And there, I go down as far as I feel I can. Keep some weight on the back leg, not just the front leg. Returning back to your warrior. Flip the back heel up. Step up and pause. So now you want the chair here. We're going to move down onto the mat. Go ahead and bring your props as I've suggested. And then when you're ready to sit down, here's where I'm going to show you a blanket. Could be good for neck people. If you can, sit down without using your hands. Ta-da. So, I have this blanket. It came with my house. I got everything in my house. So, depending on as much support as you need, I might want to do it this way. So the reason I have this here is to keep the pressure when I load onto my shoulders, on my shoulders, not on my neck. And so this is a protection. And I'm going to show it to you, but you know, you can just end up doing a bridge. So if my head is here, if my head is beyond the blanket, watch a moment, and I lay my shoulders here, so look what my head does. It goes down, so there's lots of space under my neck. Now, I'm not asking you to go up yet, but when I do, it's hard to get up here because you have something elevating your shoulders. But when you do get up here, look, I can lift my head up off the floor, proving there's no issues on my neck. So you may find, and then eventually we're going to go over like this, but you may find that that is a safer bet for you. It's a little tricky to get up on your shoulders, but it does give you some great support. I've never practiced with that, so for me, I don't use it because I don't have any known issues, and I've been good not to. We're going to start with the bridge pose first, and that'll prepare our back for this, and we've already done some hamstring. If you say, this still makes me feel nervous, you're welcome to put your feet up on a wall or up on the chair seat, making sure that your chair doesn't slide away. So you put your feet up and you would just do a mock shoulder stand. Now, my little thing may slide away here, that if you were to not want to do a shoulder stand, see, my head is still up. I'm getting into an inversion, but I'm using some props to get me there. Okay, so now you know all the things we're gonna do. We're gonna put our head to where that chair is, or for those of you who might wanna use the wall, you put your feet up by the wall. All right, come on down. This is nice, I like this feeling. So I usually check with my fingers to see if my heels are close enough. Once upon a time when I took classes, they would have you hold your ankles, and that just seems a bit extreme for me, but you know, close enough right there. Let's notice the pull of gravity. So now all of our organs and everything are being drawn downward. So check in with Mula Bandha, the action of Uddiyana. And we're going to begin rolling up our vertebrae. So start by tightening your bum. As you squeeze your bum, zip your zipper, and curling your pubic bone towards your belly button so that you feel a rolling, a lifting of your spine from the base up slowly. And then for some, just staying at the shoulders. So see, my back is up, and I'm on the shoulders. And if this feels a bit much, put more weight on your hands and your shoulders and your elbows to take it off your back. For those who say they would like a little bit more, you snug the shoulders inward, you grab the hands together, you press down on the hands, nod your chin to create space in your neck, and then press the chest up. So you're thinking of your chest coming to your chin, not putting more curve in the lower part of your back. So it's not me putting a bend in my low back, it's me opening through my thoracic region. Check that your legs are parallel. Sometimes the knees fall open. If you have your hands together and your shoulders tucked under, release the hands, pull the shoulders back out. Now we're all going to come down through the upper back, the middle back, and lower back. So if I pull my shirt up here like this and take my hands away, I come down through my upper back, pull in through the belly, get to the middle back, and then through the lower back. And then ultimately I release through my glutes. So I'm going to separate my feet out toward the edges of my mat. You can feel that with your feet. I'm going to open my arms out to the side like a T. Now be careful, for some people this is a bit much, so go slow, and then you can windshield wiper all you want. Let both knees fall to one side. Now, I personally lift the top leg first and the bottom leg second to come up and proceed to the other side. Some people don't need to do that. Some people can just lift both legs up at the same time. It's not an issue. So you be you, I'll be me. Now today I can lift both legs and I don't feel my back, so this is good. I'm tending to go a little slower, and I'm cautious that way, but if you want to just go faster than me, that's okay. What you may notice is that the first leg coming down closest to the ground doesn't always totally relax. So maybe get to one side and relax that bottom leg, and then relax the top leg, and then take the top leg bone and push it up. So instead of my hip down on the trailing leg, I'm now pushing my hip upward, opening into my hip flexor. Relaxing my hip down, Doing the same thing on the other side, letting my knees fall and noticing the weight, the heavy leg. See, this one just floats, but if I relax it, it grounds to the earth. Now, as I relax that top leg, I feel the hip flexor. And then I'm going to use my glute on the top leg and push my pelvis forward. It's like someone were kind of shoving your top hip upward. You never want to do things that hurt, so if this doesn't suit you, just stay relaxed. Slowly release back, bring the knees up, and let's draw the knees into the chest. Let's go for a little preparatory for what's going to be the plow modified today. So one foot goes to the floor, one leg goes up. We often do this one. It's the back of the leg, and you want the knee straight that you're going to feel. So if you bend the knee, certainly you can get your leg closer, but that leg really should be straight. It doesn't matter where it is, even if you need a towel, you just want it straight. And don't let your foot push so that your leg comes up easier. A little arch in your low back. Yes, you can straighten the leg out. It's a little easier with the leg bent. Take the ankle onto the bent knee thigh. And we'll do like a pretzel pose. So the bottom leg comes up, the hands can go behind the knee. The elbow either pushes that top leg out. I just use my hands to do this. Now, once you get into this figure four position, roll a little side to side. And I bet you're gonna find that one side gives you a little bit more. And if you wanna stay there, feel free. Both knees into your chest. Put the leg that was up in the air down and put the other leg that you have not stretched yet up. Low back, is it swishing into the mat or is there a little bit of bridge underneath? Move the ankle onto the bent knee thigh. Notice my knee is going to try and open. Bottom leg comes up, either reach behind and hold that leg that came up, or just use your hands to configure. The bent knee goes out. The bent foot leg comes in. And then play a little rock and roll from side to side. So sometimes this is more glute, sometimes it's more hip. You can make more hip by pushing the knee out. But sometimes muscles have to get out of the way of the other guy so you get to that sensation. Both knees come into your chest again. Okay, so here I'm coming to first the bridge, and then my legs will go over onto the seat of the chair if you're using one. If you're saying I don't want to do that, then maybe you put your feet up on the chair, but careful it doesn't push away, and do a modified shoulder stand, or a wall is really good. Let me show you with the wall, because I got a wall right here. So if I put my feet up on the wall, roll my spine up, you see my head can still come up, and I come to this modified bridge pose with my hands under my hips and come back down. And that's the one that we usually do. If you think you need this blanket under your shoulders, not under your head, so the head is up toward the chair, the blanket or towel or whatever you're going to use will be down here. Now watch the orientation. If you do not want to do the shoulder stand, and this is a pertinent decision, so I honor your decision to just do the bridge pose or do the modified shoulder stand at the wall. But the first thing we do is bring the knees in. Now if you have a blanket under your shoulders, I told you you're gonna have to probably rock a little bit to get up. Otherwise, I bring my knees in, lift my hips up, pull my shirt down, put my hands here, and my knees are coming to the forehead. For me, this is fine for my neck. It's not for everybody. If you have that blanket under your shoulders, it may take a few tries to get up. Even if you have to kick your leg up, give it a try. Once you get here, I know that the given would be if I straighten my legs, you see they're going to go this way. What I want you to do is take the toes up above the bum by squeezing the bum and letting the legs go upward rather than over. So get a little space. If your feet are on the wall, likely their legs will not completely straight. Squeeze your bum. The legs are going to want to tip over. Keep reaching them skyward above your hips. Flexing your feet, do the best you can, and you're welcome to take one leg at a time over to the seat of the chair. I'm on my little stool, you can hear it rocking. Then I push my heels. Once I have the weight out of my hands, I can then put my hands down on the floor. This is our modified plow. You may be in a bridge pose, or you may be in still that modified shoulder stand. For those of us who did the plow, put your hands back to support your hips. Take one leg up at a time till you come back to the shoulder stand. And then we're going to reverse coming down, bringing the knees to the forehead. If you're in a bridge or up on the wall, you're going to come down through your upper back, middle back, lower back. And that's what we're going to do coming out of your, if you have a blanket under your shoulders, you're going to roll a whole lot faster than me. And then I come back down. Let's lay to one side just for a moment. So if you've spun around and put your feet up somewhere else, come back, lay on your side just for a moment. Doesn't matter which side. Do you feel your body responding to gravitational pull? Use the top hand from whatever side you're sitting on. Push on that hand and draw yourself up to seated position. So a little bit of upper body in the form of what you might think of as a push-up, but we call it chaturanga. If you need some padding for your knees, you can lay that blanket under your knees. If you can do this on your toes, good. If you have a chair that's stable, that's not going to move, you could do this a little higher. So you're going to be in a plank, modified or otherwise. Your elbows are going to be in and your shoulders are going to be down. And you're just going to move your shoulders and chest down and come back up. That's the way you're going to think of it. So let me show you the options. You're going to do what you can do, I'll do what I can do, and we'll all get together at child's pose when we're done. Here's one option. You come to the toes and you lower yourself down and you come back up. If this were a little more stable, you could do it here, going down and going up. If you wanted to do the knees, you start with the plank and then put your knees down and you go down and you come up. So it doesn't matter which one. Really what I'm concerned about are your shoulders as we build this upper body strength, that this doesn't happen. And if you can't get to the floor, just go a little bit. Hold on to your bandhas, that will matter. And imagine there's a pillow between the legs and hold that pillow. So go ahead and do what you can, and then we go to child's pose. Okay, so everybody should be in child's pose, yes? Very nice. So as you come out of that child's pose, good for us, either take a seat in the chair or come back to sitting on the mat any way that you like. Could be sitting on a blanket, could be sitting on a yoga block. So we're going to do a little bit for those shoulders and for the neck. I just go to Sukhasana. My hips are feeling like I can do this, so I'm going to do this. But if you need to accommodate, you have this chair. So find yourself coming upright, bandhas, shoulders. So I want you to squeeze the shoulders up to your ears and just hold them there. There are people that walk around like this, I tell you. They have the weight of the world on the shoulders. So let the weight release, let the shoulders relax and feel heavy. Now as you're sitting nice and tall with your head on straight and not forward, it happens, take 3 fingers of one hand, doesn't matter which one. The fingers of that hand go over to the opposite side where the temple of your head is. Just 3 fingers on the temple. Now sometimes people's heads move forward, so make sure your chin is up and you're sitting tall from the side. Here, not here. And then use the weight of those 3 fingers to move the ear to that shoulder. Now you can have the other hand in front, but if you want a little more, remove that low hand and let it rest behind your back so it feels heavy. So you feel the space on the opposing side getting larger, the face is forward, the breath is easy, the spine is tall, the jaw is relaxed, the gaze is soft. As you open the hand and put it on the crown of your head, move your chin to that arm's shoulder or armpit. So you're looking at your armpit. Use the fingertips to weight onto the head, drawing the elbow down to the floor, which is where you're looking. This should have changed the feeling from the side of the neck to the upper traps in the upper part of the back and the neck. Deep breaths. Release both your hands and let your chin go center. Slowly place the head back on top. 3 fingers on the other side, so it doesn't matter what side. Over to the opposing temple. Sitting up tall, you can leave the other hand in front, or as I did on the other side, relax it. Using those 3 fingers, draw the ear to that same side shoulder. Be aware of how this side may feel a little different. Faces forward, not looking down. Jaw is relaxed, eyes are soft. Feeling heavy, but lifting out of the spine. Changing the 3 fingers to open hand, light on the crown of the head, turning my chin toward my armpit and bowing my head to look to the side of my body down toward the floor. And it's very common to find that you need this more on one side than the other. That's a thing. Breathe deep. Leave the head down, relax both of your arms. Move your chin center, look down, heavy head. Slowly lift your head and put your head nice and tall. Your hands go back. If you're seated at a chair, a wonderful thing to do is hold the back of the chair, lift up. If you're sitting on the floor like me, even if you're sitting on your knees on the block, just kind of create a bit of curve, yet space. Finish with a forward fold and then we'll go to Shavasana. So if you're sitting in the chair, let me just show you by this. If I were sitting in a chair, I would come forward, lay my body on my thighs and let my hands hang down. Easy peasy. If I were sitting here, instead of my legs crossed, I'm going to change to Bandha Konasana, the cobbler's pose. Lift nice and tall, lean forward, so I get a little bit more perhaps for my hips, but again, my forward fold. Or you could sit with your legs extended forward, lifting nice and tall, and go forward fold here. Kind of depends on you. If you need it just more gentle, I'd say sit in the chair. If you need it a little more for your hips, people always ask for hips. We were going to do pigeon pose today, but where did the time go? So sitting in cobbler's pose, lean forward. Or for some people who say, you know, my hamstrings are always a problem for me, I say sit on a blanket, pillow, and just lean yourself forward. So wherever you are, get tall first, hinge forward, and then surrender. If you're sitting in a chair, slowly give yourself time to get upright. That's going to affect your blood pressure. And then we're all going to situate for Shavasana. And because we have maybe a chair, one of the things you can do that's so nice, especially for your back, is scoot your bum up to the chair and just rest your legs on there, right? Then you can either take that blanket if you need a little extra warmth and put it over you. You could put your socks back on. You could put a blanket or pillow under your head. This is very nice. But if you like that traditional corpse pose with your legs straight out in front, you could do that as well. So there are some options. So this is our quiet time of our practice where we do nothing. Nothing physically, that is. So, surrender yourself in the sweetest way onto the mat. And oftentimes, this is where distractions come in. The noises that are around your space, airplanes and cars and banging and, at home, my heater. So whatever those sounds are, you can acknowledge them, but they don't have to draw all of your attention. The other thing that happens is once you relax the body, then the mind starts looking for things to keep it engaged. And so this is our practice to relax the mind, to not be engaged. So I give you this time and ask you to wait for the singing bowl and allow this time to be yours. And so there is the singing bell to invite you back. Begin to deepen the breath and maybe wiggle the fingers and toes. And if you like how you're laying, just stay there a few moments longer. But if you'd rather roll to your side, you can go ahead and do that because I have some thoughts for us today. So this is a quote from Claire Booth Luce. Courage is the ladder on which all other virtues mount. We like to think of ourselves as being basically good people, people with high values, people who do the right thing, and most of the time we probably are. But if we lie because we're afraid to take responsibility for something we've done, if we remain silent when we hear sexist, racist, or other types of ageist or other types of hurtful comments, if we fail to act when we see injustice, just how virtuous are we really? It takes courage to live our virtues and make them real. And so thought and reminder for us today, I won't put my values aside simply because it makes my life easier. So that may or may not have significance and importance to you today, but take it in. It might shore you up when you need it. So go ahead and bring yourself to a seated position. So we worked a lot with our posture today, some strengthening, some stretching, some playfulness, some balance. So as you're sitting nice and tall, in this moment, being present, let the arms stretch to the sides of your body. Take a breath in and lift them up. Join the palms together, and then when we put the hands at our heart, we share that word that means the light in me honors the light in you, and we say, Namaste. And so we finish our practice today. And now we have a whole week ahead of us to practice our authenticity and our kindness, to get our ducks in order, all the things that we need to do and still celebrate being ourselves. So thank you for joining today. You can use this recording whenever you want because I will be sending it to you later. So thank you for participating, and namaste.